Hi folks, it's Peter from Nova Scotia. This is, sorry I have to bend down, crouch down a little bit to get into this video. This is the final Knife Planet video for me, and all it is, it's a basic recap of the fundamentals. It's to prove to you that following a technique that you've established with some muscle memory built in and an understanding of the fundamentals, basically bringing side A and side B together at the apex of the knife to reestablish a primary edge, an edge that's failed from heel to tip. Remember, we want to create a microscopically thin line. Our new primary edge is as precisely as humanly possible, and we only do that with lots of practice and just focusing on what we're doing. We're not listening to music as we sharpen. We're just listening to the sound of the stones, and it's just you, the stones, and the water, and you're going to have fun doing it. So again, the purpose of this demonstration is not to show you that I can sharpen a knife. I don't really care if you think I can sharpen a knife or not. I want to show you that you can sharpen a knife if following a technique, a pattern. So for this final video, I've decided to use a beautiful Masakage Yuki. It's pretty easy to sharpen, and I'm going to show you some, there's an article that accompanies this video. Please read that. If you're a novice, you'll get something out of it, I think. So let's just get right to it. And for this video, I'm going to use 3 water stones, Shapton Glass 500, 2000, and Suehiro Rika 5000. And we'll finish it off at that. Thank you very much. Here we go. So I'm gonna for this particular knife, I want to sharpen it about 11 or 12 degrees. So I'm just going to use a tip of my pinky. The tip of my pinky in there, that's about 11, 12 degrees. That's all we need to worry about. No freehand sharpeners don't know exactly what angle we sharpen at. We just hope to be consistent and keep the angle stable as we sharpen. Whether it's 11 degrees or 12 or 13 doesn't really matter as long as it's consistent. It's important to work on at acute angles for these particular knives to get what they can offer us. For lesser knives, we want to be up about 18 to 20 degrees. Here we go. Pressure, as I'm moving the knife away, these are trailing strokes. Pressure, no pressure. Pressure, no pressure. Pressure, no pressure. Pressure, no pressure. And I'm using burr forming pressure here, folks. So it's the heaviest amount of pressure I will ever use for this sharpening this particular knife. I'm going to do this until I form a burr. So I can start to feel a burr there now. Remember, these knives are pretty easy to sharpen. They're very nice to sharpen. So once I have a burr consistent in size from heel to tip, I can flip the knife. I'm going to put this finger down here for some added pressure into the heel area, and then I'm going to go down and my normal finger pressure here. I've got my 11, 12 degree angle here. Pressure, no pressure. Pressure, no pressure. It's moderate burr forming pressure. I try to duplicate what I do on one side to the other side. I'll now feel for a burr. I've got a burr on both sides of the knife now. Now it's all about burr removal. So I'm going to do that by reducing my pressure, by using ever diminishing levels of pressure. So now I'm at 50% of the pressure that I initiated the process with. Very light here. Remember, I don't want to form any more burrs. I've already done that. My pattern is I move from tip to heel to tip, or heel to tip, tip to heel, and then I flip. My final level of pressure on this coarse stone is feather light. If it was any lighter, I'd be dropping the knife out of my hand. Just a stropping motion on this stone to clean the edge. So I'll check the edge now. I'll conduct a light check. And what I mean by that, I'm looking under a good source of light for any light that I may see, any hints of light that I may see that form along this edge. And sometimes you do, and you see a little speck of light, and you have to go back and remove that because that's metal that we haven't removed yet. So, but this one is nice and clean. I can proceed to the next stone, which in this case is a 2000 grit stone. Remember folks, it's all technique. It's not stones. So don't get hung up on brands and stuff like that, but just get hung up on technique. You can explore different brands as your technique improves. So I'm starting off with nice and moderately light pressure. Being careful not to form any burrs. Lighter still. And finally, feather light. So finally, I'll use the 5000 grit stone. And of course, before we start sharpening, we always check the edge, give it a quick look at to make sure there's no bends, there's nothing in there that's going to impede your sharpening process. Any problems, you've got to rectify those first before you start sharpening. So here is the 5000 grit stone. So I'm going to start with a nice and light pressure here. Really focusing on maintaining that angle. Very light now. Final cleansing of the edge. And finally, feather lights dropping. So I'll actually use a leather strop on this. This is the bare leather strop that I'm using. Same angle, nice and light. And that's all there is to it, folks. This knife is obviously very sharp. It's easy to sharpen. So again, the purpose wasn't to show you that I can sharpen a knife, it's to show you that you can do it. And remember, the objective is to make a knife that is dull and no longer functioning in the kitchen, to make one that does function in the kitchen. That's all there is to it. That should keep your objective simple. You don't need to worry about slicing the tops off tomatoes without holding the tomatoes, or that you can do that later on down in your journey. But for now, get a good grasp of your fundamentals and practice and have fun while you're doing it, and manage your expectations. And thank you very much for watching all the videos and reading the articles. Bye.